This is a $150 bottle of bourbon that I sometimes see going for over $400 on the secondary market. When I had the chance to grab this guy at MSRP, I almost passed on it. Joseph Magnus Cigar Blend doesn't sound like something that's gonna fit my flavor profile. It sounds like it's gonna be oaky, tobacco forward, and those are not the type of bourbons I'm typically looking for. But at MSRP, with the hype that it gets, I had a hard time turning it down. So let's do a bourbon review of Joseph Magnus Cigar Blend. My name is TJ Campbell and this is Brewzle, which is just an elaborate attempt to make my bourbon selection a tax deduction.
Who pays for it?
Nobody. You write it off.
If you like having fun with your bourbon and you don't take things too seriously, then consider hanging out with me. Subscribe and hit the like button on this video. I appreciate you watching, and let's get right into it. So we're gonna do this a little differently. A lot of folks don't necessarily drink their bourbon neat, so we're gonna try this one of 4 different ways. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna try it neat in a Glencairn. Second thing we're gonna do is drop it into a Glencairn and then add just a little bit of distilled water. Apparently, eyedroppers are really hard to come by around here, so we gotta just make do with what we've got. Then we're gonna try it over ice, and then we're gonna get just a little bit crazy here. Just a little crazy, and we're gonna mix it with Pepsi. Now, I'm gonna mix mine 50-50. You might not be as manly as I am. You might want yours a little weaker, but we're gonna go 50-50 with mine. First, we are gonna start with neat and give our thoughts on Joseph Magnus Cigar Blend. On the nose, wow, okay. Like, that's surprising. What does it tell me? Just straight bourbon whiskey finished in Armagnac, Armagnac?
It's pronounced Aaron?
You done messed up, Aaron!
What the hell's an Armagnac? I don't even know. An Armagnac sherry cognac cask. Now, I'm not a finished whiskey guy. So typically if it's finished, I'm not a huge fan of it. This guy comes in at 126.5 proof, is that right? Roughly, 126.5. And again, it runs at about $150, I think, MSRP. But that is a really light, fruity nose. And I guess it's the finish. You know, I think cigar blend, I'm thinking heavy tobacco and just, I'm thinking more like a Garrison Brothers, and it's very much not that. And I've had Murray Hill Club and some different Joseph Magnuses, and I wasn't a huge fan of them. But that just hits different, like really sweet. You know, I get some red fruit. I get a little bit of that kind of tobacco. I can definitely taste the finish on it, right? There's that kind of, but it's really well balanced. It's really pleasant. Kind of a nice soft sweetness to it. That's a good whiskey. That might be the first A grade. I'm not a huge fan of finish. Like, it just adds kind of an artificial sweetness. But this one's so soft and subtle that it almost doesn't feel artificial. And it leaves me with kind of just a nice soft tobacco note on the finish. That is much better than I expected it to be. Like, you expect a $150 bottle to be good. But honestly, when I bought it, I thought I was just wasting my money. I didn't think it would be something that I would really enjoy, but I'm gonna give that an A-. Like, that is something that I really like, and I might get an extra bottle just to have around. So let's try it with a little water on it. Swirl that guy around, just get that water nice and mixed up in there, get a little air on it. Similar on the nose. Like, not a lot of difference there. Wow, there's a lot more going on with water on this. Like, you can get a lot more subtlety and nuance. Whereas in the mid palate, like, it's just super sweet and you get a nice finish on it, but it kind of dulls the tobacco on the finish. But you get a much more complex kind of mid palate with a little water on that. That's actually really good with a couple of drops of water in it. All right, let's try this guy over ice. Now, I don't typically like my bourbon over ice. Although that's pretty good. Ice just brings this kind of sharpness to the whiskey to me. Almost like a hairspray quality. Like, it just brings out a lot of the sharp bitterness to it. This one's pretty good over ice, but I would just never drink this or any whiskey over ice. But that's just me. No hating if you do. So the most important test. This is the test y'all really came here for. You know you don't care if it's neat. You want to know, what does Joseph Magnus Cigar Blend taste like with Pepsi?
Won't you gentlemen have a Pepsi?
Not wonderful. It's not wonderful with Pepsi. It's not terrible. It's middle of the road. That's middle of the road with Pepsi. So if I'm giving this a grade of 1 to 100 with 1 being terrible, that's gonna be an ace. That's gonna be about a 91 there. Over ice, pretty similar, probably pretty similar. Maybe even a step up, maybe a 92 or so. You just get so much more interesting stuff, especially if you can go back and forth. So you get the really nice finish on that, and then you can try kind of that mid palate of it with water. This right here, we just ruined the whiskey with ice. Like y'all gonna get mad saying I ruined the whiskey with Pepsi, but honestly, we just ruined this with ice. This is, as far as whiskey over ice goes, it's a 65. Oh, with Pepsi, probably about the same. Probably a 65 or so. Okay with Pepsi, not real good. So if you tried Joseph Magnus Cigar Blend, or are you on the hunt for one? Let me know in the comments what you thought about it. Did it surprise you like it surprised me? I don't know, this guy just kind of snuck up on me. For a $150 bottle, I should have expected more. I understand that, but I didn't, because I've got a lot of really bad $150 bottles. Remember to subscribe. I appreciate you watching. Hit the like button if you enjoyed these reviews and you want me to do more. Here's another video that YouTube thinks you would like if you're into that kind of thing, and I'll see you next time.